comes rum coming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer. Send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over, over there, over there, over there. Send the word over.
Hey everybody, this is Joshua Littrell. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Veterans for Cannabis podcast. This is segment 2 with Mark MATOZA. Mark, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Mark, it was so exciting to have you on the first segment of our show, and we got a really great understanding of the history of, just you, your family's Marine Corps history, growing up in California. What a great way and great information segment for our listeners. But, there's one thing that we didn't really hit on too much, and that's the big C word, that cannabis that's hanging out over all of us, right?
Sure.
So, Mark, we ended on golf with segment 1. Let's start there with golf now with segment 2. I understand that you are a huge golfer, but are you doing much golf now?
I really am not playing much golf, and I'll tell you why. I mean, to me, golf is a passion. The problem was in 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, actually. I was literally I had bought one of my dream cars. I had a very nice Mercedes 300. It was cherried out. It was very nice. It was a 93. I was driving down a highway, driving down 45 miles an hour down an expressway, and I got rear-ended by a gentleman who had a pickup truck. He was pulling a jet ski. He was trying to text message, and he hit me going 85 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh!
From the back. I didn't see him until literally his truck hit my bumper, but he saw it enough for me to just clench a little bit. Anyway, the bottom line of that was, if it wasn't for the Mercedes, I wouldn't be here today. Wow. It was completely totaled. But what I ended up with was 3 herniated discs in my back and 7 in my neck.
Oh my goodness.
Now, I had started in the cannabis industry to help a friend. There was a friend of mine who I worked with at Netscape, Hugh Hempel, who asked me to help him with certain things, and I did. And so I was kind of looking at it at that time. But when I went to the hospital, they gave me the usual pain meds, and this was on a Friday. And literally, Joshua, on Saturday I couldn't even sit on the couch. I mean, it was a world I did not want to be in. And I had been working somewhat in the cannabis industry, so I actually went out and I got one of the first medical marijuana cards here in Florida, and started using medical cannabis for the pain management in my neck and my back. To give you an idea, when I wake up in the morning, I have from 7 herniated discs in my neck. I have a pain level of between a 7 or an 8.
Okay.
I've been to lots of doctors, pain management doctors, spinal doctors. They all say the same thing. It's so damaged, it's more risky to operate than do anything else.
Right.
Kind of tough luck. Now, I have figured out with cannabis, I'm able to wake up in the morning, and literally between the time I wake up and the time 3 minutes after I'm out of bed, I'm able to take that pain level down to a level 1.
Mark, what's your regimen typically during the day, if you don't mind sharing for our listeners?
I start out in the morning with CBD with some drops, some tincture drops.
Okay.
It's 4 THC to 1 CBD, and the reason is because I'm trying to attack the pain as well as get rid of the inflammation.
Absolutely.
I also take drops as well. It's 12 CBD to 1 THC, and that's for the inflammation.
Okay.
So I'm kind of treating two things. But the drops take about 20 minutes, 30 minutes to work, so that I then grab a vape pen, and I have a couple of vape pens that I really like, and literally a minute after I take a hit or two of that, literally within 2 minutes, the pain goes away.
Yeah, and you and I have spoken, ad nauseum about our instantaneous relief and why the need for vaporizers. I mean, it literally changed my life, and I know the impact it's having is tremendous, But a lot of people are negative on it. They're like, but that negativity has come from some very nefarious actors in the space doing illegal crap, not putting quality product out there.
Yeah, I think you got to get down to what the facts are. And there were some bad actors, there's no question.
Absolutely.
But I know that the first time I took a hit off the vape pen, and literally within 2 minutes, the pain went away. It was like somebody took a rag, wiped it over my neck and my back, and the pain went away. And the first time it happens, I just looked at my wife and I said, "Whoa, do you know what happened?" I mean, even this morning when I did it, I still am amazed.
Wow.
4 years later, how that happens. It is
so
something
amazing.
that a lot. But I'm able to conduct my life. I'm able to work. I have, as you know, I have five. I work with 5 companies. I have 6 websites and 7 social media networks that I manage. So I can't be high. I can't. I guess I could,
Sure,
but I have
yeah.
responsibilities to people and to people that are out there.
Well, Mark, let's talk about those. You're in a whole lot of different cannabis-related businesses. What's the main one that you spend most of your efforts on?
The main one I'm working on right now, I've been working on for the last 3 years, has been what I call Marijuana Aware.
Okay.
And I started out by the company called Marijuana Med today, which I still have, and we're now resurrecting. I was trying to build a WebMD for medical marijuana, but the problem was there was way too much bad information out on the internet to be able to, and because it's a Schedule I drug here in the United States, it was very hard to find out information.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
I do have to tell you, I worked for 3.5 years to establish relationships with the Israelis, and I now have an agreement with a couple of top quality Israeli firms where I'm getting, like Kenigma, where I'm actually getting information from them directly from Israel. So I'm able to bring back and build the true WebMD for medical marijuana. I helped build the original WebMD. I helped architect it, I should say. So I want to rebuild that, but I needed quality information, and so that's where I'm going to be spending the next 6 months of my life. But what I did was I started a program 3.5 years ago where we felt people don't know about cannabis.
Yeah,
they don't know
you're
about
right.
what it is. So we started holding seminars called Medical Marijuana Awareness Seminars. And over the last 3.5 years, we held 135 seminars here in Florida.
Wow. Now, are these in person? Are they virtual?
These were in person. We traveled. We did Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach. We did Tallahassee, Orlando. We went through Central Florida. We went through went to Naples. We were in Bonita Springs. We were in Miami. We did the whole state, and we did 16 seminars a quarter. We did 16 locations and 24 seminars a quarter for the last 2 years.
Wow, that is some kind of schedule. Now, it's we. You say we. Who is we?
Well, I have a beautiful wife who is more organized than me. She ended
Aren't
up,
they all?
Yeah, she ended up actually running the whole seminar program. I mean, she had the ability to be able to set up the venues, to get the advertising done, whether it's been digital or in newspapers. So she really was the person who did the Marijuana Aware program. I was a speaker, and we brought on other speakers that were there. But our goal was to be able to have people who just heard about, you have a lifestyle medical condition, you hear that marijuana may help you. Where do you go to find out? And that's what it was all about. There's no commitment to become a cannabis user. It just allowed them to kick the tires and see what was there. And
Mark,
to give you an idea, Joshua, over 135 seminars, we averaged 62 people per seminar.
Wow. I think one of the things that was most exciting for me the first time I attended one of your seminars was the fact that it was there was no pressure. Mark, I didn't feel like this was a sales seminar. I didn't feel like I'm sitting there like, oh, you got to buy this product. But you guys really took it to the level of what I do with our seminars too. It's the education side. That's all you're doing is educating patients.
Right. And that was what it was all about. If you have it, like in my case, if I had pain management, where do I go to find the straight scoop as to whether this would work or not? And and it may not work. But we had doctors that were there. We had all of the pharmacies were there. I shouldn't say all. Most of the pharmacies attended.
Right,
they were actually the sponsors. They were actually in the room and speaking. So it was a place that you could go and you could learn. And we had a number of different doctors that participated. I did use the medical marijuana treatment clinics of Florida, but we had a lot of doctors that attended these things. Our goal was to help people. And I have to tell you, the emails and the letters that I got afterwards, even get today, about how about a year into the program, I had a lady who came up and was talking to me before the seminar, and she said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "No, I don't. I'm sorry." And she said,
"I mean, you see hundreds, if not thousands of people. You see hundreds, if not thousands of people a day. How do you remember some of them?"
Yeah. She said, "Well, I was the person who was here. This was actually here in Claremont." She said, I was the person who sat in the front row. My son wheeled me down in a wheelchair so I could sit up front. And I remembered her from that because her son looked like that guy who was from the Green Mile. He's big.
Oh, wow.
And she had some serious issues. And afterwards we talked and actually got her an appointment at the Villages to get her medical marijuana card, which she did. And she started medicating about 2 weeks later. Well, roll this forward a year later. She said, here's what happened. She said, I got my medical cannabis. I started feeling better. 3 months after I started taking it, I was able to get up out of the wheelchair and walk with a walker.
Oh my gosh, that
is
is so
the mobility
amazing.
Was wonderful. She said approximately a month ago, she said 6 months ago I started walking with a cane, and she said a month ago I was able to give up my cane.
Wow.
And she walked in. She was dressed like she was going to a ball. She looked wonderful, and I had her come up and talk to everybody. And she said to me, "I got my life back." And I cannot tell you how many times I talked to people who ended our conversations by saying, I got my life back. So guess what became our marketing slogan? I got my life back.
Man,
that's what seminars are all about.
I'm about to cry right now because this is why we do what we do. You know, this is why you and I are involved in this. This is the kind of impact we're having on people's lives every single day. How old do you think
Joshua, I have to tell you, even with a mask on, I'll go to the store because I mean I'm quarantined right now. I don't believe this thing is over. I think that I don't believe in politics. I believe in science. And look, you only got one life and one body. And I've got 2 grandsons, and I want to be able to have them be safe and me be safe. So the only thing we do is go to the store. But I cannot go to the grocery store without somebody coming up to me, even with a mask on, okay, saying, "Aren't you Mark? And by the way, thank you for that seminar."
Wow, that is so awesome. That is phenomenal.
I don't care if I go to Publix. I don't care if I go to Target. It's amazing how many people. I guess they recognize me because of my hair or whatever. But it really is refreshing to know that we've helped a lot of people.
Yeah, you have, Mark. You've made a tremendous impact in people's lives and made the state of Florida a better place and just made our country better as well. So you mentioned, bringing Marijuana Med Today back, but what other companies are you involved with, and what are some of the other ventures you've got going on?
Well, I'm working right now with medical marijuana treatment clinics. We've actually found over the last year and a half that you can sign up and have a doctor recommend cannabis, but if you don't get the dosing right, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we set up a call center, a dosing center. MMTC is the only set of doctors that if you get your card from them or you use that doctor to get your card, you have a phone number you can call that gets you into a set of practitioners, if not the doctor, to help you with your dosing.
Wow, that is so great.
Because if you go low and you go slow, you may be going low, but you may not be addressing the issue, whether that's inflammation or pain. But if you can talk to a doctor and you can adjust it up, it makes sense. Let me give you an example. About 2 years ago, I decided to put my body where my mouth was. I walked in golf courses for years. I ruined my knees. I replaced my right knee 12 years ago, but my left knee was gone. So I decided to have knee surgery, left knee replacement. And I did. And I worked with the doctors at Jewett Orthopedic. And I said, I don't want to do any pain meds afterwards. I want to use medical cannabis.
Okay.
And I thought he was going to throw me out of the room, but he looked at me and said, "Thank you."
Oh my gosh.
He said, "We've been looking at medical cannabis for treatment of post-surgical pain. Would you be our guinea pig?" And so I actually worked with 5 doctors at Jewett, and I was one of an experiment where we had 5 patients. They all had opioids, and I had medical cannabis. Now I was operated on Monday, and in the hospital Monday and Tuesday I had to take Percocet, but on Wednesday I took no Percocet, no drugs. What happened was when we left the hospital around 1 o'clock, went to the parking lot, took some drops, and took a hit out of my vape pen. And I've got to tell you, by the time we went from the parking lot to the curb, my pain was gone.
Wow.
This is after a knee replacement. Right?
I don't think our listeners understand the reason that you weren't using it at the hospitals is because many of the hospitals don't even let cannabis come into their hospitals. You're not allowed to utilize cannabis as a treatment option in the facilities.
That was not considered something they even wanted to talk about. But I have to tell you, the first and the second night, the problem is that when they give you Percocet, it's supposed to give you you take 2 every 4 hours. If after 3 hours you're in pain and you call a little doctor and your little nurse and you say, "Listen, I'm in pain," their answer basically